This video is for the Nu-Relics one-piece window kit for the 55 to 59 Chevy trucks. Mainly doing it because there was zero videos as far as I could find for the Nu-Relics kit. So learned a lot of things the hard way and some stuff that would be super handy to know ahead of time. So hopefully this will help you out if you're looking at this kit. I get asked, why would you put a one-piece window kit in this truck when it has the wing windows? And everybody loves wing windows, right? On every other body style, I'd say that's true. On this body style, I hate them. The wing window bar that runs up and down that used to be here, it's right in the middle of my tow mirrors. I use the truck for towing, and that's terrible. I can't stand that. With the bar that used to be there, the actual window opening in the back that you put your arm through is really small. Makes it irritating, get your arm in and out. That's not a huge thing, but it's mildly irritating. Main thing is wing windows. Everybody likes them. You can open them up, turn the air right on you, right? In this body style, that's not the case. The wing window spins around, hits the door frame of the door, which is slanted inward there, and that doesn't allow it to rotate enough to actually blow air on you. They do blow air in the cab and do a good job at that, but not actually on you. I just really dislike them in this body style, and for those reasons, and wanted to go with the one piece. At least at the time of this video, there's only kits available were Brothers, which has some known issues. You can Google that on your own. And then this kit, which is often rebranded under some different names, but Nu-Relics is maybe arguably, or maybe not arguably, known as the better kit of the two. So we'll just go over some stuff and give you an idea of what you're looking at in doing this and some tips I learned. This is half the kit. The other half's already in my passenger door there. So it comes with ACI motors. Supposed to be a good motor. Of course, your regulators, stuff there. Your channel adjustment bar there. This bar here is for your guides on that, which attaches to your rail here that goes on your glass. The glass is not included with this kit. They provide a metal template. It's two-piece. That's the reason for the tape in the middle, to have your local glass shop cut them for you. And that's would be the biggest tip I have out of all this, is they need to cut that glass exactly like this template, not close. It needs to be exactly. Mine were about an 1/8 inch bigger total overall, and that actually made them bind at the top when I tried to roll them up, which caused me to have to sand them down, which I'll get into later. That's no fun. So have your glass people cut that exactly to the template. Be picky about it. Check it before you leave, and that should save you from having to sand them, I believe. So anyways, that's like I say, half the kit. The other part of the kit I've already got in there. The bar that comes with the that mounts on the glass, one thing about it that I did not like in the kit, this is supposed to be a wedge-in design, and if you'll notice here, the channel is narrower at the top where the window wedges in, and that's not normal for a wedge-in type window. How are you supposed to wedge something in using this rubber cork strip when the top of part of it where the window goes in is narrower than the bottom? I got it in as tight as I could, and the very first time I cycled the window down, it pulled it out. You might be able to epoxy something in a few spots with this and be fine with it. I don't know. I wasn't going to take everything out down the road when it popped out, probably when it's raining, so that wasn't acceptable to me. Would have rather have kept this so it's an easier window change later if I broke it, but they didn't offer anything else when I called. So I used 3M window weld, and I just epoxied that down inside the frame, push that in there, and that's never coming out for sure. That's good stuff. It is expensive, about $25 for that tube there, which you don't need that much, so maybe they sell something smaller, but nobody around here did. Just something to note on these instructions. these are ones I had to reprint. They send some nice color photo printed ones, and I accidentally threw them away when cleaning the shop, so these are printed off black and white, but they are better than that when you get them, in case you're curious. The instructions are okay. I think they just left out some stuff that is super handy to know that I'm going to go over stuff with you here. One of the other things is the kit's not complete. It doesn't come with glass, like I talked about earlier, but you're also going to need cat whiskers that go along the tops of the door so the glass slides up or the glass slides in between them. That and the 8-foot long window channel. When I had ordered the kit, they told me I could get that from Restoration Specialties. I'm sure you can get them from other places, maybe cheaper, I don't know, but total for all the cat whiskers and 2 8-foot sticks channel, which you'll need every bit of that, was $217 shipped, so that stuff's a little pricey. That place was super helpful, though, I will say that. I would have definitely ordered the wrong channel width. The channel width, total width is the same, but the original glass that's in it has a metal frame around it, which is about 1/2 inch thick. And I would have, just not thinking about it, ordered that channel exactly like it came. Luckily, the guy I talked to was fantastic and asked me if my glass was narrower, which it is. It's 1/4 inch, which may actually be the same as the stock glass, I'm not sure. But it doesn't have a metal frame around it. So you need the inside of those window track channel to be narrower for that narrower glass. So super glad that guy had thought of that to ask. Otherwise, worst case, I'd be out shipping, sending them back. Worst case, I would have bent this and end up having to take it out and throw it away because it wouldn't be good for this application. So Restoration Specialties is who I got that from, and I'd recommend them just off the service they got, but you might be able to find it cheaper, so check around. So anyways, those 2 pieces there and the glass, that's what you're going to need in addition to the kit from Nu-Relics. And of course you'll need window switches, which there's a large variety of that depending on what you want to do, but they'll go over that when you order it with it. Anyways, go over to the truck here. Got the passenger one just kind of temporarily installed here, but it does work. Maybe the biggest thing for some of you in this kit is it does require a very sizable hole cut in your door. It's 6 3/4 by 27 inches. I don't think Brothers Kit requires you to do that, but in my opinion, and most people's opinion, it's not near as good as a kit as this, so I chose this kit because that didn't bother me. I've got just bed liner for a coating. So when you cut this piece out, they don't send you anything to go in there, no brackets, nothing to put it back in. You're on your own in that respect. So you'll reuse your piece there, which will be your widths of cutoff wheel off. So you're going to have a gaps all the way around. I'm planning on just putting in 3 tabs, top and bottom, and maybe 1 or 2 on the sides, and just drilling holes and mounting them in with screws. And I'm just going to use some bed liner on the edges and just make it real thick, and that'll cover my gaps. So for me, that wasn't a big issue. For those of you who have nice painted truck there in that spot, you know, nice paint jobs, that might be a deal killer for you. But at the very least, know that ahead of time, and that you're going to have to think of something there if you don't have maybe a nylon nice interior trim panel covering that or something. So just be aware of that. Let's see. One of the spots here where these screws are, you've got some inner pieces here, which I forgot to bring over with me. Let me grab those real quick. These pieces here go behind there. Apologize for the walking around. I'm not a video person, just doing this to help people out here. So anyways, these pieces mount on the inside of the door back in here. There's a little bitty 4 or 5 inch track in there that one of the rollers on the regulator slides into. It has to be limited in its travel to get the window to cock sideways as it goes up. As these trucks, the window can't come straight down. It's got to cock sideways as it comes down. which is the main issue with these. So you've got to put these limiters in from the inside. They do provide a template. This hole here was already here. It wasn't quite that big, but it was already here. So you line this up there. You set it on the groove that's there. That lines you up where you put your hole here. Now my issue was my door here is double walled. So the screws that come with them are way too short to go through all of this. They don't tell you to put bigger holes. I just drilled bigger holes and then mounted the screws to the inner part of the panel in there, to the inner panel. So that's how I did it, and used the screws that came with them. If you want to go through both, you're going to need longer bolts to go through there. So maybe this is later, maybe the later years, 58, 59 or something. Maybe they added support there. I don't know. Maybe that's thinner on the old ones. I'm not sure. But just to save some confusion, you'll have to choose what to do there. But that limits the travel of the roller on there and gets the window to cock sideways when it goes up. So that's one thing there. This kit here also comes with this adjustable bracket, and that's for your window channel. It mounts up in here with the screw here. They tells you exactly where to do that. They do a good job of telling you where to mount it in the instructions. Your whole regulator, by the way, just uses factory holes there in those 4 bolts. So those are already there. So it tells you where to drill holes to mount this, and then your window channel goes in there, and it's all adjustable, as you can see. So that takes some adjustment to get everything right there, but that keeps your window quiet when you're driving, and it doesn't come out of track, both of which are issues with the Brother kit. If you're doing some research on that, people have kind of got that figured out on how you can modify it to make that kit better, and you don't have that big hole there. So some of you doing some research on that, if that hole in this door is a big deal to you. Let's see. As far as what I use to glue in the window channel, I'm not saying this is the right thing to use. It just worked great for me. Local O'Reilly's had it, JB Clear Weld epoxy, and that stuff works great. I will warn you ahead of time, maybe check into using something else. This stuff works great. It stinks. And I mean, this shop stinks all the time with carb cleaner and grease and oil, but I can't tell you how bad this stinks. This will stink up your shop. So if you're care about that, maybe your garage is attached to your house, it reeks. So be prepared for that. Plan ahead if you're going to use this stuff. Otherwise, maybe find something better. I don't know. But I use that to weld or the epoxy in all the window channel all the way around, and it seems to be doing a great job so far anyways. I did, like I mentioned earlier, my glass was a little too big, and could have taken it back in and had them do it, but how much do you have them do? I don't know if they'd charge me or not. Looked on the Google, and just using a cheapy belt sander with some 80 grit paper and spraying that down with water. Sand the glass along the edge like this. Don't go sideways on it, and just do little bits at a time. Keep the heat out of it. Keep it cool with water, and it worked pretty good, and I was able to get it to work just fine. Mine was just a little wide, and by the time it get up to the last 5% of its travel, it would wedge and not close all the way. But I imagine you can get out of needing to do that by having your glass cut right the first time, I guess. Cat whiskers. If you don't know what those are, like I didn't, they're that real soft trim that goes in here that where your glass slides in between. You've got to make those yourself, of course, because factory ones only went to the wing window bar, and that's not going to work for you. So those pieces you ordered you got from Restoration Specialties or whatever. They're plenty long, as you can see. So you've got to make them fit yourself. They do mount in the factory holes in the door with these little pieces. So they'll only mount so far because they only go out to where the wing window was. So the rest of it doesn't have those. So from roughly in here to here, you'll have to mount that another way, whether a little screw through the felt, or I'm just going to use that epoxy and epoxy it into place. But the biggest tip I have on that is make it out of cardboard first. Do it in 2 pieces. Get your bends all cut right, because if you screw up, cardboard's free. These are expensive. Do it in 2 pieces. Get both ends where you want them. Leave it a little long. Then attach them in the door and trim in the middle. That way when you're all done, you've got 1 piece. You can just use that as a template and bend your cat whiskers to fit. So you're not wasting expensive cat whiskers in case you screw something up, cut it too short, etc. So I think that worked pretty good for that. Overall, I think it's a real good kit. Seems to be a lot better quality, quieter than Brother's kit was. So that's why I went with this anyways. Give a little demo of it going up and down. You can see how it turns. You can see how that had to turn when it gets to the top. So, works good. I'm very happy with it. And hopefully some of those tips will help you out and save you a lot of time, as they definitely would have saved me time knowing some of this stuff ahead of time.